Andy, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you, Andy?
I'm very good, Andy. Thank you very much.
This is Andy D, which stands for Director, and Andy C, which stands for
Complete.
Continuity Supervisor.
Yeah. How did you meet Alex, Andy?
How did I meet Alex? I met him in an interview a long time after you met him. What year did you meet him?
2010? It was a couple of years before we did this. Basically, we made a film called The Games That Time Forgot, or Cricket on Horseback and Other Forgotten Sports, which is basically Alex and I driving around the countryside, mostly around Cheshire where he lives, and looking at loads of silly sports that had been invented and forgotten, culminating in a game of actual cricket on horseback, which isn't polo, it's actual cricket on horseback. And so, yeah, we spent a couple of weeks making it. I'd made a film for Avalon before with Dave Gorman, so they got me in to do that with Alex, and yeah, we spent a really good couple of months making something very silly for BBC 4.
And then I met Alex when I was interviewing for the job. I had worked for Avalon before, and then had an interview, and Alex is a very nice person to be interviewed by.
So we'd been working, after we did Cricket on Horseback, we worked to develop the idea or the TV format and sell the format of Taskmaster to someone who'd give us money to make it. That took about 2 years, I think. Where does the one guy who never eats lunch with the rest of the crew go for lunch? Sometimes I go for a walk, sometimes I get entire work done in the office, and sometimes I do eat lunch with everyone.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That was Andy's answer. Andy wanders off when everyone else is eating lunch together. But sometimes he stays with us, and it's a very special day. How do you structure a guest day? How much downtime do they get? And more importantly, what snacks are available? We basically try and get as many tasks in the day as we possibly can, and so therefore we try and organise the hardest tasks to set up early or after lunch or whenever we can get some kind of break. It's all about trying to get the most out of the day. I mean, it's really hard to say because every day is different. Depends on the weather, depends on how much stuff they have to do and how much stuff we have to get done and how many tasks we need to do that day. We try and get as many done as possible, so sort of try and structure that day in the most efficient way.
He speaks the truth. Downtime, it depends how long the task takes to set up.
Yeah.
It's
they get loads of downtime.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because we mess around all day.
We always, whoever comes, we always reference Sarah Pascoe because she basically wrote a book during her downtime, which was what all of them should aim for.
Quite often they'll come into a room, and because we want to make it as real and as live as we can, everything is prepared for them to go and do other things. And so if we think or if we know that the task is going somewhere else, then we've got cameras set up and we're ready to go in those locations. So even though sometimes they walk in a room and there's a task on the table and they say, why have I been waiting in my room alone for an hour? It's because we've been setting things up and making things ready so that we can go smoothly into the next bit.
I think we have one sleeper per series. One person has a little nap, favours naps.
It's usually you though, isn't it?
Yeah. Daisy May Cooper, I remember, always watched films with her makeup lady.
Quite a few of them have, they say it's quite a good part of the show when they're doing nothing because they've got no responsibility, because they literally walk in here, do something and then walk out again. It's like a sort of little holiday in a small room.
And they all want everything to be a surprise, so they're all very keen not to step out, and they all very politely ask if they can go to the toilet, and we have to make sure the coast is clear, and sometimes have to make sure there's no camera in the toilet, things like that. Well, we do. We
put cameras in the toilet occasionally for very occasional tasks, but it's not a good habit for anyone to have, really.
Yeah. 360 is unnecessary, isn't it? Andy Devonshire, tell me.
Oh, that's you. You wrote that.
Andy, tell me about the TV movie The Tooting Lions.
No.
Okay. Who did the voice of Mr. Blobby? That's a nice one.
I've watched the episode twice and all I can hear is Sophie Duker. It is a Sophie, but it's the same voice that was in episode 10. She was on the phone in the series 10 Locker Task, and she is also called Sophie. She's Welsh.
She's Welsh. She was
she's excellent and lovely.
Coordinator, became production manager, and then also moved on to junior Taskmaster to production manage that. And now she's having a baby.
Ooh, congratulations, Sophie.
Congratulations, Sophie.
We'll still get her back in to do the next voice, though, definitely.
Mm-hmm. What's the worst smell to come from a task? We both want to say, wait and
see. Bloody see. Wait and bloody see.
Wait and bloody see, yeah.
There is a task about smell coming up.
But also, I think we'll all say the milk. The milk was absolutely hideous.
Sarah Millican milk in the lab, got under the lino, got into the walls, turned into some new kind of being. It smelled so horrible for about a month.
Yeah, that was.
It was really horrible because it's such a. I mean, the lab is such a small and grim room at the best of times. It's got plastic on the walls. It's very small. It's got a radiator that's either freezing cold or boiling hot. And when we're in there, there's a whole bunch of people being hot. So any smell in there is pretty grim. How much footage is there, and how long does it take to edit each task? And are there multiple editors working on different episodes? Lots of footage.
Yeah.
Each task is obviously 5 people's worth of cameras, 5 people's worth of...
How many cameras? 9?
Not enough.
That's just talking about the tasks, not the studio. Yeah, there's a huge amount of footage. And how long? Well, on paper it's meant to be 2.5 days per task to edit them, but some tasks are very quick and some are a lot more involved, and so it takes a lot longer than that, really.
We usually have 2 or 3 brilliant editors working at any one time, and they basically work remotely, mostly remotely, in little rooms, and Alex, Andy and I send notes. We have a shared document where we have different colours for our names. We send notes separately, and then we combine the notes and turn them green when we all agree.
What's your colour in the document?
Blue.
And it says?
I don't know, you wrote it. Aunt Pink Bottom is Andy C. Alex... Andy T is Daddy Blue Balls, Andy C is Aunt Pink Bottom, and we... There you go.
Yeah, we won't... Well, I wouldn't... Whoa.
That's series 19. Series 19. Andy?
Hello.
What is it like to work in the house? I mean, the reality is it's our working office. Everyone mostly works from here. We're in here all the time, so it's kind of... It's cosy because it's quite small, and we try and make it as comfortable as possible, and we try and make it as nice as possible and a good place to work. But it is, it's weird because we're on a set. We don't really notice it's a set, apart from having to move everything around all the time to actually get our work done.
How do you decide, which tasks go in which episodes? Just you?
I ask Andy for his advice.
And I ask Alex.
And we all talk about it for about 4 days, and then we change our mind at the last minute. There's a formula. There's a general formula, which is mixing up the house and location and team tasks, and also the sort of the spirit of the tasks, the style of the tasks, and the way in which the tasks work, and how much fun they are. We just make the best cocktail of tasks to go in each episode. I think that's basically what we do.
The tasks are all colour coordinated, as in if it's location, lab, team, living room, garden, etc. And then we start off by spreading those out so there's a good spread across the series. And then we start to think about what works together, and if there's an art task, 2 art tasks, then we'll make sure they're either end of the series. And then if little things have been said or there's any callbacks, we'll switch things around.
I mean, it's basically working out how to make the best show. So, and obviously we wouldn't put 3 of the same tasks in the same episode. Just looking for an old one. There you go. These are all the different tasks, all different colours for in the house, out of the house, on location. There's nothing secret on there, I don't think. Probably not. So that's how we organise it. Where do you draw the line for camera stroke sound crew to be involved with the tasks? And production team. Murder, probably. Maiming.
How do you choose the location for the non-house tasks? Amy, our task producer, is, I think she used to work doing locations for TV, and she's very good at finding lots of our places. We've also had quite a few people approach us. So Gatwick was, it's weird to be approached by an airport.
I suppose people approach them all the time, so they're getting their own back. To be honest, it started off as a trade-off because Alex lives far from the Taskmaster house. We traded off him going to locations close to his house so that he'd get to have a lie-in at least 5 times a series. How do you decide on the series theme? Very good question.
Well, it's another Google Doc where we've added lots of themes to it. Sort
We
of
have lots of Google Docs. Other docs are available.
We sort of ran out of artists that were distinctive enough to spread across a set, or that we were allowed to do. So we started coming up with themes rather than artists, and then
it started as pure artists. Now we're getting a bit more indulgent in how much we can actually do. I mean, it is funny watching the earlier series about how naked the house was. We think of what would be a good backdrop for the house and garden and tasks and things, and then anything that looks good. You know, it's a highly visual show. We want it to look good, so we sort of set out and make things that can look interesting in the tasks. You know.
Shout out to James Dillon, this team.
Shout out.
Big shout out. Were there any contestant outfits you had to reject? One person had an outfit for series 16, and it was a ski jumpsuit, and they sent us a video, and it was so noisy we had to say, no, I'm afraid you can't wear that, which was a shame, but it would have been unusable for filming. But then, other than that, there's little bits that we've had to say no to. I'm sure Lou Sanders mentioned her vote labia, which the channel said no to, which was a little motif and a picture that we couldn't clear of Annika Rice. And Rosie Jones, who's in series 18, originally had a picture of a vagina, which we had to say no to. I think...
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, we've got filming to do.
Oh.
We can't do any more of this.
I really wanted to answer that one.
You wouldn't want to answer that one.
I would, and I'd have done it as well.
Really?
I'd have done that.
With a chicken?
To you.
We haven't got any more time to do this now, so catch up in part 2.
I'll be there.
With a chicken.
For more Taskmaster, subscribe now.